What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Orioles Today, where I am dropping brand new content every single day on all things the Baltimore Orioles. It is off-season time. So much is happening, I feel like, every single hour. So you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. That way you are getting notifications on every single video that is dropping and making sure that you are staying up to date on your Orioles. As always, I am Sean Ferguson. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. It is off-season time, so there is so much to get into, so there will be so much information packed into each and every one of these videos, so make sure you are looking out for the new drops. Again, World Series is over. Off-season is here. I cannot wait for the next couple of days. Free agency will begin here very, very soon, meaning teams are making moves within their own organizations with their own players. And that's exciting on top of it, because I know if you're an Orioles fan, there are a few players there that you are waiting to see what is going to happen with. They're going to keep, they're going to let go, how's it going to play? Because that's also going to play into free agency time. What is going to happen what's going to happen in free agency matters with what they're going to do with a few players here. And one of the players I was just talking about, and it has become official, Tyler O'Neill has decided that he will opt in to his final 2 years of his 3-year deal that he signed with Baltimore last year. Tyler O'Neill will be back for the next 2 years. I believe it was a 3-year contract worth just south of $50 million he signed last offseason, but he had an opt-out clause after year number 1, meaning he could play the first year of the 3-year deal, opt out, and become a free agent, but he's not going to do that. He so underperformed in year number 1. This is not a surprise at all. If you're an Orioles fan, he batted .199 with 9 home runs. He appeared in just 54 games with the Orioles last year, and he still has about $33 million owed to him over the next 2 years. It's definitely not Chris Davis bad, but it's still bad. It's a handicapper, it's a handcuffer, and again, no one was shocked that he was going to do this. He said he was going to take a little bit of time to think about it. There was nothing to think about if you're O'Neill. You had a terrible first year with the Orioles, which you got a contract you shouldn't have in the first place. Again, I know I'm not alone. I would love to hear you guys on this, but they should have kept Anthony Santander. He should never have went to Toronto. And O'Neill, he most likely wouldn't have returned to Boston anyway, but he shouldn't have come back. And then we signed him to a deal that he doesn't deserve. He's just absolutely injury riddled like he had been his entire career up to this point. We give him a big deal. He absolutely underperforms it, and he's going to opt in. So years 2 and 3, the next 2 years, 26 and 27, he will be an Oriole. There's no way they're going to ship him unless somehow goes nuts the first half of the year this year and we can somehow ship him elsewhere. I absolutely doubt that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. But for now, Tyler O'Neill, contract-wise, will be an Oriole for the next 2 years. He has decided to opt into his contract, so Orioles fans, you're gonna see that face a little bit. I believe next year is going to be an injury year for him as well too. So you're going to see him at least a little bit. And we'll see. Luckily for the Orioles' sake, their farm system is yoked once again. And you saw it last year with Basayo and Beavers coming up. They still have a lot of guys that they can call up bats-wise. Pitching is a different story, but they got a lot of guys that they can call up bats-wise. So when O'Neill inevitably does go down again, they have someone else that they can call up and just fill that spot like they had to do last year. And they're most likely going to have to do for the next 2 years of this contract that we're stuck with, because Mike Elias thought that was a great idea. I digress. All right. One thing the Orioles absolutely have to focus on right now when it comes to free agency, which I wouldn't even say free agency, but they need to be paying attention to other teams' opt-out and opt-ins, because that's a big story right now. And a big one is Edwin Diaz. The O's need help front end and back end. Felix Bautista most likely going to be out a good chance the entire year next year, 26, once again due to injuries. When he's on the field, he's one of the best closing pitchers in all of baseball. But it's been really, really hard to keep him on the field with all of his injuries. Edwin Diaz will officially become a free agent. He has opted out of his big 5-year deal that he signed with the New York Mets back in 2022. That deal was 5 years worth $102 million. But that deal had an opt-out clause after year 3. Diaz just finished up year 3 and has decided to opt out of his deal, which means he is going to forego the final $28 million that would have been owed to him to become a free agent. Now, Diaz posted a 163 ERA. He had 28 saves and 31 opportunities last year for the Mets. And if you are an Orioles team just loaded with talent that you really do believe this will be a rebound year, a bounce back year, especially under your new manager, which I do believe this will be a bounce back year for the Orioles if they do play their cards right in a few areas. This is one of those areas. You don't have to absolutely break the bank with Edwin Diaz. You're going to have to shell out some money, but it'll finally be so great and refreshing to see the Orioles spend money on a guy in the position they need that's worth it. Now, signing Craig Kimbrell was awful to be your closing pitcher. And last year, filling a starting pitching role with Charlie Morton was awful. But Edwin Diaz is a guy the O's could and should go after. There's going to be other teams that are going to go after him aggressively as well, so you're going to have to pony up with the money. But why not? Why not? One of your biggest issues last year was your bullpen. Okay, you get a guy in there, like I just said, he posted a 163 ERA, and he was given 31 save opportunities and closed out 28 of them. That's amazing. So the O's, they need to be up there with the aggressors. You know the Yankees are going to be aggressive. The Dodgers, they have all the money in the world. They're going to be aggressive. And it's time for one of these small market teams like the Orioles, who have a brand new owner who has money. You need to start spending it on these guys that you should spend it on. Edwin Diaz is a proven quality closing pitcher, and you can go after him now. Now, it's going to be a little interesting to see if the Mets do offer him a qualifying offer, because then draft picks are going to come into play. But if they don't, it'll make it a lot easier. That way you're just parting with money, and not money and draft picks. So that is going to be something also to keep an eye on. But at this point, with just kind of the way that the Orioles farm system is kind of reloading itself, I would be okay with departing with money and with draft picks, because again, it's a position that you need filled with a quality guy. Bautista most likely gone next year. Diaz could fill that hole, and I would love to see that as an Orioles fan. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. And another guy that this is a sneaky keep your eye on, that's Michael King. Michael King has also decided to opt out of his contract. This with the San Diego Padres. Now, Michael King isn't one of those, Dylan Cease type guys, but he's one of those sneaky picks the Orioles could bring along, sign, and you never know. He could be a Trevor Rogers type, where you're not expecting him to, go 20-2 on the year and have a super low ERA. But he could be a guy that comes in, fills that position, gets you 15 wins over the year. That would be absolutely fantastic. And Michael King could do that. He's opting out of his deal. He's going to become a free agent. And again, the only thing you're going to have to worry about is he is a guy that's been injury plagued over his career. He was injury plagued with the Padres. But the good thing is you won't have to break the bank to get him. And that is what is making him a little desirable if you're an Orioles fan. Again, this will be a sneaky pick. It's not a guy a lot of people are talking about, but the Orioles could sneak in, grab him, and it will be a contract that wouldn't cost them a lot of money, so there wouldn't be a ton of risk there. So risk reward kind of plays itself there. So I think the Orioles should definitely look after King. He could also be a qualifying offer guy, so if he is that, it'll be another situation of money and draft picks. But if not, even if it's just money, I really think they should give that a shot, because he's an arm that could help if he stays healthy. And I know I've been beating the drum on injuries. But he's a good veteran starting pitcher that has proven himself when he's staying healthy. He's had a little bit of a dip. But if you could pay that little bit of a dip, lower money, smaller amounts of money than these pitchers that are going to be out there asking for the world, I would do it. You're not going to hurt yourself too bad. I would give it a shot. I'm going to be really interested to see if they decide to go after him, because he's going to be a guy that's going to be cheaper than most options out there. And if he stays healthy on what has already been an injury-plagued Orioles rotation, man, that could be huge. It could be. I'm not going to say he's going to be Trevor Rogers, an ERA below 1, but he could be a guy that posts a mid threes ERA, and he could help you down the stretch when you just need him to get you out there a couple quality starts. So Michael King, another guy that opted out, and the Orioles should absolutely go after. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. I know I'm going to have some of you disagreeing with that, but that's okay. And to end it, man, I'll tell you what, Jorge Mateo, it's been a fun run, guys. Jorge Mateo has been an Oriole since 2021, and he's been a solid veteran to help with the injuries when there were injuries, but then he became injured himself, and he was another guy that the injury bug bit bad last year. He only appeared in 42 games, but he was a great utility infielder for the Orioles. He was a guy that kind of got a second chance, and he was flourishing with the Orioles when he was healthy, but that just didn't seem to last long. Last couple of years, he's been really banged up, and again last year, just 42 games he was able to appear in. He had a club option this year that was worth a little bit over $5 million, but the Orioles decided to decline that, and that means that Jorge Mateo will officially become a free agent and will no longer be a Baltimore Oriole. I doubt that they go the route of re-signing him, which I know I touched on that. The Orioles are going to most likely depart with Tomoyuki Sugano, not try to offer him a qualifying offer or anything like that, but there is a chance that Sugano could come back on a deal with the Orioles. I don't believe that is going to happen with Jorge Mateo. I believe he is gone and will be free to sign elsewhere. Again, all of this young talent that the Orioles are starting to call up now that they drafted back in 22, 23, and even last year, they're going to start bringing up to see what they can do. So Mateo is one of those guys that was the odd man out. Injuries did not help his case, and he is going to be gone. Sad to see him go. I was a big Mateo fan. He did some good things with us, especially when we were winning, and he helped out a lot. But the injury bug bit him, and again, he is the odd man out, and he would no longer be an Oriole. Guys, let me know what you think about today's video. Free agency is coming up so soon. You will see more opt-out, opt-ins, especially in the Orioles organization. You'll have signings here or there, but the big one is coming up soon. I'm excited to see what happens. I know all of you guys are excited too. Hopefully it's not false hope. Hopefully they give us something to be happy about. And again, just let me know down in the comments what you thought about today's video and what I went over today with Diaz. I'm really curious what you guys think about Diaz, but more importantly, Michael King. He's a guy that you could throw in there starting rotation-wise. I just think it's a smart move. I really do think it's a smart move. So let me know what you guys think. I really do appreciate you tuning into this video. This is Orioles Today. I am Sean Ferguson, and I'll see you guys on the next video.